So, Nick, what do you make of Baker Mayfield saying he lost himself a little bit last year?
Listen, I think this is a really positive sign. And shout out to Baker. That's the best his beard has ever looked. He looks great. He looks ready to go. But I also think that I think it's a positive sign because Baker last year failed for the first time, in his football career. And he is recognizing that because of that failure, this is the biggest year of his football career since he walked on at Texas Tech, since he was just, one of many kids trying to find can I play Power 5 conference football even as a non-scholarship player? And so my advice for Baker, Michael, would be to make it as simple as possible. Why was he bad last year? He couldn't stop turning the ball over. 12 picks in his first 7 games, and he didn't get any better by the end. 8 picks in his final 5 games. He was a turnover machine. Because of the upgrades the Browns have had on both sides of the ball this offseason, and because of what their schedule is, a third of their schedule is Washington, the Giants, the Jags, and the Bengals. If you just don't make a mess of things, you're at 5 wins before the year starts. And so if he simply, at least early in the year, focuses on not screwing it up, I think by the end of the year, he could be surging. But I do think that the accountability is important, Mike, and I do think him recognizing the importance of this season for his future in Cleveland is critical because he has no business being top 3 in the NFL in interceptions. A quarterback that accurate should never deal with that like he did last year, Mike.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I think Baker just got caught up in him having to do everything himself, him having to put the team on his shoulders and carry the entire team. When you got guys like Landry and when you got Odell Beckham, on the outside, you got guys who can take the pressure off of your shoulders. But as quarterbacks, naturally, you feel if you're starting to lose, things not going well, you want to take it upon yourself to make sure everything goes right. And it's just not the way to play the game of football at the quarterback position. What Baker has to do is go back to the drawing board, get back to the basics. The way he played his rookie year and the way he finished his rookie season, go back and watch that film. When I arrived in Atlanta, I felt like I was the savior. I felt like I had to do everything. And then as time went on, we brought in guys like T.J. Duckett and Warwick Dunn. And I started to use those guys as offensive weapons to help me with my game and to make the team better offensively. So Baker has to understand that the onus is not all on him. He has other teammates around him that has to make the team better as well. And I think if he gravitates and he soaks that all in, then he'll be a much better quarterback. But he is starting out in the 2020 season with the right mindset.
Mike, do you think Baker is putting undue pressure on himself? Because there's a stretch, the season opens up, Browns at Ravens, you got to play the MVP. Then it's a short week. That's on September 13th. Then September 17th, he's going to play Joe Burrow. Now, let's suppose you lose the first game. If he loses the second game to Joe Burrow, and the way that he was talking about in this interview about having his confidence and really needing to feel like himself, I feel like that week 2 game has become super important. How important is his confidence to get off to a good start early in the year?
Man, those first 2 games are very pivotal. It's tough enough opening up at Baltimore and then having to play Joe Burrow in week 2, a quarterback who's a rookie, just now stepping in. And if you lose that game, you start out 0-2, the chances of making the playoffs is slim next to none. So I think as of right now, getting off to a great start is going to be important for the Cleveland Browns. And I understand why Baker Mayfield is putting this type of pressure on himself. He's looking at the schedule and saying, these are not going to be the easiest of games. We have to compile some wins early in the season, and then hopefully we can coast later on in the season. But, as a quarterback and as a competitor, this is the mindset that he has to have. I think there's some winnable games on this schedule. He's going to have to work for everything, and it's different amounts of pressure. Insurmountable pressure is going to come along with the first 4 or 5 games of the season.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.